Hello and welcome. My name is Doug, and I am one of the hosts of the Sip of Courage podcast. This is not an actual episode of the podcast, it's more of a kind of short reference video or companion video. On Sip of Courage, we're going to be talking about a lot of topics, a lot of stories that come up that are never reported on the mainstream media, and we're very interested to get to the bottom of some of this stuff. And what we're going to be talking about quite often is a little something called gematria, also ritual murder. That's right. And there's something called 666 code. And since we're going to be talking about it quite often on the show, we wanted to do this reference video so that people can be caught up very quickly and can know what's going on. So I don't have to break it down and explain every episode what these numbers are and what it all means. So I'm going to do my best to kind of explain it here, and going forward on certain episodes when these topics do come up, we'll have a link down that you can just watch this video and hopefully catch you guys up to speed. And I'm no expert, but I've just been looking into this stuff for some years now, and this is what I've found. So to start, I wanted to talk to you guys about something called 666 code. And this is something that you will see in news stories all the time. But you know, if you don't have eyes to see, you won't realize what's going on. So basically, these numbers are 666 code, starting with the number 18, because 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. And there is, for instance, if you take the Earth and the moon, the size of the moon from the moon to the Earth is 108 moons. If you take the sun, by the size of the sun to the Earth is 108 suns. You can look that up easily. Drop the zero, it's an 18. It's 666 code. And we just keep an eye for that in certain stories moving forward. Another number, 23, because 2 divided by 3 is 666. We're in the year of 2023. Some would say the year of 666, and I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the news lately, but there's been quite a few satanic kind of demonic stories that have been happening as of late. It's kind of been ramped up. Another 666 code number is 36. And basically, not only do you see the 3 and the 6, but when you add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 all the way to 36, it equals 666. So in other words, 666 is the 36th triangular number. And the other number in 666 code is 216. Because 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. So we're just going to keep an eye out for these numbers, and we'll see how often they pop up. And in order to kind of further show this, an example of the 666 code and what I would consider a ritual murder, a fellow by the name of Sam Smith, who you might remember from the Grammys, where he was dressed up as the devil, and he had a bunch of dancing Jesuses around him while he did the song Unholy. Very, very satanic looking. But he was also on, before he did that, he was on an episode of Saturday Night Live that aired on January 21st. And he was the musical guest. And on that episode, you know, each singer, when they're a musical guest, they do 2 songs. For his second song, first of all, the episode was hosted by Aubrey Plaza, and he was the musical guest. And for the second song, Sharon Stone made an appearance as part of the performance. And I looked into why was she even there. And basically, he DM'd her. He reached out to her and said, "Hey, would you like to do this?" And she was like, "Okay." And so I got some little video or some clips I want to show of this Saturday Night Live performance with Sam Smith, and Sharon Stone was there. So basically, you're going to see Sam Smith kind of standing in the middle, and all around him are people wearing black robes with black hoods, and in the middle of the stage is Sharon Stone, because Sam Smith reached out to her and invited her here to be on this. And so they're it looks very ritualistic, very kind of like a dark ritual, satanic in my opinion. And so here these guys they're doing some chanting. Sharon Stone's in the middle, and then as the song goes, Sam Smith, he kind of starts singing towards the end. She has this look of fear on her face, and it's Very disturbing. And so there she is. She's looking clearly terrified. And so I watched this with my wife. And as soon as we watched it, I was like, okay, well, that was pretty much a dark ritual. Okay. And I can confidently say that someone, either Sharon Stone herself or someone close to her, is probably going to die soon. And wouldn't you know it, 23 days later, there's your 666 code, her brother just so happened to die at 57 years old. Interesting about that, her brother's name was Patrick Stone. He died at 57 years old on a Sunday, the day of Super Bowl Sunday. And that was Super Bowl 57. And that's the day that Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl and Patrick Stone died. And also the date of that was February 12th, 2023. And if you take the date, 2 plus 12 plus 20 plus 23, it equals 57. And her brother was 57 when he died on the day of Super Bowl 57. And he died 23 days after that performance, 666 code. And also he died from cardiac arrest, which equals 57. And the next thing I want to talk about, and that is gematria. So guys, for gematria, it is basically the ancient practice of coding letters into numbers. And when you do that, you can see what certain phrases or words equal to. And you can find hidden connections between words or phrases that equal the same thing that you wouldn't realize. For instance, well, let me explain the ciphers, and then I'm going to give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. So there's 4 main ciphers that are used. It's actually 2 ciphers used forward and reverse. The first one we'll call alphabetical. And in that cipher, remember, you're converting letters into numbers. So A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, all the way to Z equals 26. That's simple English or alphabetical. A through Z, 1 through 26. And then you do the reverse. Z is 1, Y is 2, X is 3, all the way to A becomes 26, okay? So 1 cipher, forward and reverse. So 1 cipher, 2 totals. And then the next cipher that is mainly used is something called Pythagorean gematria, or with the rules of numerology. And what that is, much like the alphabetic cipher, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, but when you get to J, the 10th letter, there's no double digits in this cipher, so the 10th letter would be added to itself, meaning 10 would be 1 plus 0 equals 1, K, the 11th letter, 1 plus 1 equals 2, and so on. So basically, that number cipher is 1 through 9, 1 through 9, 1 through 8, and then the reverse of that. So 2 ciphers, forwards and reverse, 4 totals. So let me give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. On February 7th, 2023, LeBron James surpassed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in all-time NBA scoring. And just on the face of it, it seems like, oh, it's a normal event. Wow, way to go. And but if we take a closer look, we're going to see how the numbers kind of start popping out here. So keep in mind, LeBron James is a 38-year-old man. Okay, he did this while he's 38 years old. The record he beat was held for 38 years. Okay, he beat the record by scoring 38,388 points. That game he finished with 38 points. Remember, this happened on February 7th. That's the 38th day of the year. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar broke his record on April 5th, 1984. If you just take the date, April 5th to February 7th, when LeBron broke his record, it's a span of 308 days. Drop to 0, it's 38. And back to the Super Bowl, LeBron was at Super Bowl 57, where everybody was booing him when he was on the teleprompter, which I think is hilarious. But the Chiefs scored 38 points to win that game. Okay, and he simulated wearing a crown, and everyone was booing him. Hilarious. And if you know gematria and look into this, you will know that that number 38 is very much associated with death and murder. And I'm going to show you right in about 2 seconds. Okay, so here we have the 4 totals. Okay, this is an app, Gematria Calculator. You can do this on a website. Just type in Google Gematria Calculator. It comes up. I use an app. This thing works great on your phone on the fly. So if you type in murder, see at the bottom it equals 38. Okay, so real quick, you see all these 38s that LeBron James with this, what I would consider a ritual. Just know that the day before, on February 6th, that's when the Turkey-Syria earthquake happened, okay, where almost 59,000 people died. So all these 38s, okay, murder equals 38. When you write out death equals 38. Killing equals 38. To kill equals 38. The initials RIP equal 38. Also, LeBron was simulating wearing a crown. When you write out the crown, it equals 38. Okay? So, not only did the earthquake happen, and what a terrible tragedy, but from seeing how all these 38s going on, and it was the big, he became the first NBA all-time scorer, all that stuff. It was in my, much like the Sharon Stone incident, I was thinking, okay, somebody close to the NBA is going to be dying soon. And I was looking at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I was wrong. But it turns out that Magic Johnson's father died on March 8th, which is 3/8. By the way, that's a span of 4 weeks and 2 days after LeBron James beat the scoring record. 4 weeks and 2 days later. And LeBron James equals 42 in Gematria. So, not only that, but Magic Johnson's father passed away. By the way, Magic obviously played for the Lakers. Kareem played for the Lakers. LeBron's playing for the Lakers. Magic Johnson's father died on March 8th, 3/8. And if you take Magic Johnson's father's birthday, which was his last birthday, would have been June 14th, 2022, to the date of his death, March 8th, that is a span of 38 weeks. Okay? And if you're still on the fence about this, there's a little band called Slipknot. And on their 4th studio album, okay, it's called All Hope Is Gone. They have a song on there, actually track 2. It's called Gematria, the killing name. So, first of all, the band, as far as it being their 4th studio album, in Japanese and certain other Asian cultures, the number 4, the word for the number 4 is the same word for death. Okay? It's shi, S-H-I. And if you write out S-H-I, you see 3618, 666 code, right? So it's the band's 4th studio album, and it would also be the bass player's last album with the band because, first of all, clearly the band knows about Gematria. And the reason I bring up the number 4 being associated with death is because the bass player, Paul Gray, that would be his last album with Gematria. And when we write out Gematria, it equals 38. Write out the full thing. Gematria, the killing name, the name of the song. Gematria, the killing name. It equals 380. Drop the 0. It's 38 again. And the bass player died. His name was Paul Gray. Paul Gray equals 38. And guess how old he was when he died? That's right, 38 years old. So just a couple of examples of how in the media, in the news, in these stories, it's constant. When you look at celebrity death, when you look at award ceremonies, when you look at all these things, you pay attention to the numbers, and you'll find that there's something going on. And hopefully this helps as a reference for people when we're trying to talk about this topic further in the podcast. Tune in, enjoy. We look forward to you guys checking us out, and thanks for listening, and hopefully this made some kind of sense to at least one person out there. All right, thank you. See you guys soon. Bye.